Well, now I'm going to tell everybody about this new story I came up with today. I guess you could say I just pulled this one right out of my ass. Anyway, this is called The People of the Sun. One day, I noticed a strange silver object protruding from the sand while we were walking the beach. Upon closer inspection, it seemed to be something that was hollow, almost like a flute. There was, however, no way to remove it from the sand. It seemed to be attached to a much larger unseen object beneath the ground. Without much thought, I blew into the object only to hear a very loud noise from the other side of the ocean in the distance. At that moment, I could hear sounds of pebbles hitting the water and then the sand. Tiny stones began falling from the sky all around me. I looked down to notice that these stones were quite unusual. Each stone had a crudely carved image of a sun with a human face. On the back, there were words carved that appeared to be directions to a mountainous location. I started off going up an extremely high hill. In fact, it was so steep, I was almost vertical. By the time I reached the top, it was almost sunset. I noticed a small shack, which is the only thing at the top of this mountain. It almost looked as if I was on top of a Tibetan mountain range. I proceeded towards the shed and noticed a wooden sign hanging over the doorway with a sun carved into it, much like the ones on the rocks that fell from the sky. There were plates of food displayed in the window, which was close to the ground. They have rice, fruit, and other provisions that would seem to be foods from India. However, they were all dyed in unnatural colors, such as blue pineapple, for example. I entered the shack and into a small square room, which was almost completely empty, and was immediately greeted by people who looked to be from India as well. They had offerings of food and seated me at a small table in a room with no lights, but there is a huge window facing out with a magnificent view of the surrounding mountaintops. A small bell rang, and all these yogis got into contortion-like yoga poses while facing the giant window that nearly encompassed the whole wall. And as the sun began to set, an amber light filled the room, and the strangest thing happened. The yogis opened their chests and displayed the inside of their torsos, exposing their hearts, ribs, lungs, and yet stayed completely calm in their positions as if almost frozen in a meditative state. As the sun went down, the bell rang again, and they all closed their chests and had come out of their yoga-like stances and began to say goodnight to me. The people of the sun were very friendly people indeed.